Dr. Hans Yu. And what's new now is that last year in 2025, he was investigated for gross negligence and put under probation. And then just last month, he was ordered to cease practicing because he violated one of the terms of probation when he failed to pass a competency exam. And he can't practice again until he passes that exam. And now this is interesting for many reasons. There just aren't that many doctors in Bakersfield. And according to Michelle Montserrat Ramos, this was really tough on patients. Montserrat Ramos is a patient advocate with the nonprofit Consumer Watchdog. And she says, there just isn't a huge pool of doctors to choose from. Plus, they may not all accept every patient's insurance, and this can be really tough on patients.
It created mass confusion because, these moms didn't know where to go. Some were going to deliver that weekend and they didn't even know.
Yeah, you can imagine how difficult it can be to find a doctor on a regular day. So for expecting mothers who are certainly on a timeline, that's pretty shocking to hear.
Yeah.
So obviously, these regional health disparities don't get solved overnight. Are there people like Michelle Montserrat Ramos advocating for more improvements? What might they be working on now?
Yeah, definitely health advocates out there. So Michelle Montserrat Ramos, as I said, she's a patient advocate with Consumer Watchdog. She's been really closely watching maternal and infant health in Kern County for years, for longer than I have. She knows Demi Dominguez's family personally. Patients come to her when they have questions or complaints. And she's working to bring a lot more awareness and advocacy to this issue. For instance, she helped get the Kern County supervisors to acknowledge May 2023 as Latina Maternal Health Awareness Month in the county. She also helped bring the Medical Board of California to Bakersfield that same year for one of its quarterly meetings. That's the first time they'd ever done that. And they got to hear from some of the patients that she works with. She's also identifying some parts of the Medical Board's complaint review process and advocating to make that process more efficient. She's also advocating with a couple of research agencies at Stanford and at the state to do a really detailed review of the Central Valley to help answer some of these questions of why these geographic health disparities are so pronounced.
We're kind of looking at the entire landscape and trying to figure out what's needed and, what we can do with local stakeholders to try to assist in saving some of these lives.
Okay, before I let you go, Carrie, I'd be curious to know at this point, what questions do you still have as you look back at your reporting from 3.5 years ago? Any unanswered questions or sort of lingering thoughts on your mind?
Yeah, I think there's just a huge gap in data. There's some about infant and maternal mortality. And we certainly know a lot nationally about the maternal and infant mortality rates. The rates here in the U.S. are higher than a lot of other developed countries. And that data is easier to get because it is still rare enough that it's easier to calculate these rates within a larger population at a country level rather than at the county level. But without this really detailed, recent local data, it's hard for health experts to know how to take steps to solve this issue locally, even when we know it's a big problem nationally.
KVPR Associate Editor Carrie Klein, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Liz.